Today we're going to be learning our 90-degree haircut. And when the beginning of a 90-degree haircut, what we're going to do is we've got to establish our perimeter. Because we've gone with this mannequin from a 0 to a 120 with an angle around the face. And a 90-degree haircut, when you're learning a 90 degree, it's the easiest to learn the one that this is the same length all the way around. So what we're going to do is, a learning technique is to measure and establish a guide here. Establish a guide at, use the bottom of this section right here, then the bottom of the section right here. Because you can see where the difference of this height to this height on the head, this hair will be shorter. So we're going to cut it to this point right here. We'll also be cutting a very small point in the front, in the dead center of the front, and another one on this section. So we'll have A, B, C, D. We're going to cut A to B, A to D, B to C, and D to C to establish our guide and our perimeter. I'm going to take an all-purpose comb that has measures on it, and what we're going to do is we're going to come underneath and we're going to measure the back of the hair at this length. The comb is 7 inches, so that's about 7 1/4 to 7 1/2. We take the side piece, take a very small section, we come underneath, and she is about 10 inches. Then we come to the front, the center piece, and she is about 9 inches, working with really small pieces. I'm going to put my comb underneath, and I'm going to just cut right at the bottom of the comb. Then I'm going to come right here. You don't want to take a big chunk, but if you take a tiny piece, it'll be hard to find it. So I'm going to comb that hair. I'm going to insert my comb underneath, and I'm going to cut to the length of the comb. I'm going to take the front. I'm going to do the same thing. Put the comb underneath and cut to the length of the comb. And one more time. So now we have our guides all the way around. So now we're going to just connect the dots. Remember, the back, I said, was already pretty close to 7. So right here in the dead center, I'm probably not going to have much to cut. But remember that this is a rounded haircut. So it's with a traveling guide. So we're going to be cutting more off these edges than we have done in previous haircuts because we cut those very square across the back. Now it's going to be a rounded haircut. And remember, with traveling guides, either the model moves or you move around the chair. I'm going to tilt her head down because remember that cut causes a natural curve and it keeps me from making the hair flip up. And I'm going to follow the head shape, and that's going to tell me when to start turning. I'm going to be standing right in front of the guide and the section that I'm cutting. Remember, I'm moving up the head, so I need to be turning my hand and my comb up the head. So right here, there is my guide. I'm not sure if you can see it, but when you're doing it, you need to see it and cut to it. Remember, we're coming up, we're moving up. Because this hair, to get to 7, is going to land up here. This hair at 7 is going to land here. This hair at 7 is going to land down here. So we're going to have a rounded haircut. So you see I'm using my fingers to point towards where I'm going. Here's my guide. Now look, if I just connect all that together, there it is, and there's that. So I'm just going to connect those like that for ease, and then I'm going to clean it up. Because when you group that much hair together and cut it, what you're going to cause is not real clean. So now I'm just cleaning that up to make sure I've got my sections the way I want them to be. You can already see how this is just swooping down. And just to check, that's at 7, so I'm good there. That's at 7. And the back is at 7. So now I have finished the right side. I'm going to start at the left, and I'm going to do the same thing. Because the mannequin, the section is more straight across here, I'll just be standing behind the back of the head. You see my guide? Once that mannequin's hairline starts changing, you're going to start changing. Now, do you see right here, it's going to be straight. This was straight. Now this is going to turn and it's going to be angled more. Now at that point, you're going to want to stop and try to find that underneath guide. So now I can make a visual connection from here to here. Okay, so here's my guide from here, and here's my guide where I'm going. So I need a little bit more of an angle. Now, do you see how easy that's going to be? You want to slide and pivot your fingers in a way that lines up this point to this point, and that way you won't get lost. I find that for students, it is easier to work from the bottom of the head up, because if you work down, you may have a tendency to do that, and you would be cutting off so much hair because you've got to keep your angle pretty steep with a 7-inch haircut. Then I will look at her, finger balance it, see if I got it the same length. Right here is just a little bit longer. So I'm going to come back to where I know my guide was good. For some of the students, this is the most difficult haircut to learn. But when you get it, it is an incredible power for you, because once you understand the 120 and the 90 and the 180, you can do a range of haircuts. Those are all your tools to create the kind of haircuts you want, because a lot of haircuts are really a combination of a lot. They're not just simply a 0. They're not just simply angle around the face or a 180. I do a lot of haircuts with a 180 on top and a 90 on the bottom. So you just will have so many avenues of different haircuts to be able to do once you master these haircuts. Okay, so my perimeter is finished. And now I'm going to go ahead and take out a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch subsection from front to back, which includes